So I wanted to tell you though that I got into when I looked into those articles into a discussion. I didn't quite get into a discussion though with these guys, but I observed a discussion take place between some people in the commentary threads about Yahoo Finance talking about the dollar at 20-year highs, and they were talking about how I hope they knock over bullion. That this knocks over the price of bullion because I'll keep stacking at that point and buying more from this guy, and this guy's like, "Oh, you're a sucker for that," and then somebody else was like, immediately below, "Oh, me too," and the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm a real sucker. I'm going to be buying into something with like real value, like something shiny with my, monopoly money." And I wanted to say this, but it's only people in the United States that think of the U.S. dollar as federal fund notes and monopoly money. I mean, we're the only people that don't take it seriously. You know, all around the world, the dollar is the reserve currency, and it ends up being like the default thing that things are traded in, even in places that are outside the United States. I mean, the dollar is what things will be the unofficial currencies, and like if you're in a dystopian country and a government like in Africa, for instance, where the government is inflating away the currency like crazy, you'll find that there's an unofficial economy of U.S. dollars, you know, that's going around in the background. So, my argument ultimately against gold and silver as buys and as strong buys is really simple. You know, what YouTube did wrong and that I hadn't considered, in its education videos here on this platform that I'm so righteously pissed off about for this and everything, and that I'm arguing against and have come on here to argue with the YouTube financial community. They basically said, that all fiat goes to zero, and they provided all that education and all that arguments. So, I mean, let's really get at it, with the gold bugs. Okay, first of all, yeah, all fiat goes to zero. Fine, you want to have that argument. Let's give it to you, as an assumption, but over an infinite time frame. You know, uh, I me and you probably, and everybody who watches this video will probably be dead and gone before gold and silver actually make their moonshot, or the dollar goes to zero. So it doesn't matter that all fiat goes to zero. It's irrelevant, and it also doesn't matter, that you're stacking. I mean, guess what? That stuff has an abysmal rate of return, on it, as far as all that stuff's concerned. And I promise you, dude, like you gold and silver, fanatics. I mean, we'll be dead. Okay, we're gonna be pushing daisies long before we see gold at the moon, long before we see silver at moonshot, and the U.S. dollar, and in the meantime, may just do well for itself. So my biggest issue with like the gold bugs and the Bitcoiners and all this stuff is just that you guys have people hoodwinked, like you've got them thinking, yeah, I mean, that makes sense. All like fiat currencies all suck, they're all got to go to shit. Well, we don't need fiat currencies to be lasting. We don't need them to last forever. We just need them to hold themselves together while we're still here, on this earth. So, that's kind of the problem with a lot of the stuff that's put forward by Milton Friedman and all those guys, is that maybe in your world as the Austrians, what you guys said would make sense, in the long run about the whole thing. But like Keynes said, to and all this, to all that, in the long run we're all dead. So in the long run, and by the long run I mean eternity, all fiat goes to zero, but it doesn't matter because in the long run we're all dead.